Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for being here. Today we are talking about Proverbs 29, verses 15 through 27. If you got any questions or comments, please leave those in the comment section below. I would appreciate it. So verse 15, the rod and reproof give wisdom, but a child left to himself brings shame to his mother. So discipline gives wisdom. Discipline brings out wisdom, provides direction. But a child left to himself will shame his mother. So our default state is shameful to our parents, to ourselves, etc. So it's only through discipline we'll be able to change that for ourselves or for our children, whichever the case may be. Verse 16, when the wicked increase, transgression increases, but the righteous will look upon their downfall. So it's kind of a natural consequence here. When the wicked increase, so will transgression. So when the people who are wicked increase in power or numbers, whichever the case may be, the transgression that they commit, the sins, the death and destruction that they invite will come upon, will be more prevalent because there are more of them, or they have a higher power status or whatever. But the righteous will look upon their downfall. The righteous will, from the outside, look in upon their downfall and their destruction. Verse 17, back to discipline. Discipline your son, and he will give you rest. He will give delight in your heart, or delight to your heart. So again, discipline leads to peace, leads to rest, leads to some kind of break, and that will bring delight to your heart. Or, having disciplined your children will eventually bring you delight. Verse 18, where there is no prophetic vision, the people cast off restraint, but blessed is he who keeps the law. So this is a verse typically applied to leadership positions or leadership talks, where there is no prophetic vision, where there's no plan, there's no vision, there's no plan to move forward, there's no organization, where that stuff is lacking, where an obvious endpoint of vision is lacking, the people cast off restraint. People have no restraint to move toward anything because there's nothing, there's no vision which they're trying to accomplish. But blessed is he who keeps the law. So that's kind of our default, not necessarily vision, but what keeps us kind of in bounds is the law. And we know the law is there to help us kind of stay in bounds and help give us some guidance. We also know that the law was done away with by Christ, that he came to fulfill the law so that we wouldn't have to. So we're not bound by the law anymore, but that there's still a lot of wisdom there in being able to execute your life. Verse 19, by mere words a servant is not disciplined, for though he understands, he will not respond. So sometimes words are not enough for discipline, whether in a professional situation or even at home. Sometimes there has to be some type of punishment, whether that be physical or otherwise. Just sitting down and talking may not always be enough. For whoever you are trying to discipline understands, they will not respond. They're not going to respond to that unless there's a repercussion involved. Verse 20, do you see a man who's hasty in his words? There is more hope for a fool than for him. So if you see someone that's quick to talk, if you're involved or around someone who's quick to talk and obviously slow to listen because they're too busy talking, this says that there's more hope for a fool than for him. So the takeaway from that is, if you are constantly talking, never listening, never leaving yourself available to take in information and wisdom, then you're putting yourself in the camp of a fool. That by being so quick to talk, you're a fool because you're not able to gain wisdom. You're not able to receive correction and all the things we've talked about to lead towards wisdom. It starts with being open and available to receive that instruction and criticism. Verse 21, whoever pampers his servant from childhood will in the end find him his heir. Excuse me. So the way I understood this, and it may not be 100% correct, but those who take care of those, as a boss or a supervisor or whatever, whoever's under you at work or at home, if you take care of them, if you pamper them, whatever, in the end you will find that they are family. So if you take care of your employees, if you take care of your subordinates at work, whatever the case may be, in the end you'll find that they're more friend and family than they are just a work partner. Verse 22, a man of wrath stirs up strife, and one given to anger causes much transgression. So a man that's quick to anger or is given to anger has kind of given themselves to that leads to much transgression and much sin. We've talked about how sin leads to destruction and other bad things. So by giving yourself to anger, you're choosing that path for yourself. Verse 23, one's pride will bring him low, but he who is lowly in spirit will obtain honor. So basically, if you think too much of yourself, you'll be humbled. But if you think less of yourself, you'll be honored. So again, by honoring yourself, you'll be dishonored, and by dishonoring and making yourself lowly, you will gain honor. You will be honored. Verse 24, the partner of a thief hates his own life. He hears the curse but discloses nothing. So even those not directly involved in this case, in stealing, they're still complicit. There's, by being a partner, and it's not clear as to what that may mean. Maybe that's, someone that's funding, someone that's benefiting from the illegal acts, the theft that's occurring. Anyway, someone who's involved in that hates their own life because they're just as much guilty as the first. They hear the curse but discloses nothing. So the way the commentary I looked at read this is that the curse was kind of like your, when you're sworn into court and you're basically promised these bad things if you lie. And so if you're in that situation, then those statements would be a curse and not a blessing. So they are cursed in that way, but they still disclose nothing. But yeah, so verse 25, the fear of man lays a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. So by having all of our fear and respect for man, we're laying ourselves a snare. We're putting ourselves in a trap. But whoever trusts in the Lord is safe. So I see this a lot of times where people think too highly or think too much of a pastor or someone in some religious position. They think, they almost think them unhuman. And then, it comes out that they've had some kind of fall, or they've done something that's not benefiting their position or whatever, and people just have this this big issue, this big falling out. But the problem is not with that person. Obviously, they also have issues that they're dealing with that have to be worked through and dealt with. But if you put your trust in people, you'll always be disappointed. So our fear, our respect should all go to the Lord, and that in that in that trust, we are safe. And we don't have to worry about him faltering or failing. Verse 26, many seek the face of a ruler, but it is from the Lord that a man gets justice. So many try to get in front of a ruler in order to gain justice, or in order to, for the ruler to hear a situation and give them justice. But ultimately, it's up to the Lord to get justice. Verse 27, an unjust man is an abomination to the righteous, but one whose way is righteous is an abomination to the wicked. So the way I read this is that we're all an abomination to somebody. The unjust man is an abomination to the righteous. So the righteous are looking on the unjust man, thinking, "What is he thinking? Why is he doing that?" And condoning or condemning his way or his actions as an abomination. But the one whose way is straight, the righteous, the wise, that one is an abomination to the wicked. So the wicked's looking at the righteous and the wise and doing the same thing and going, why is he doing that? And it's an abomination to him because we just there's a great divide between us in that our mental framework, our spiritual framework is so different that there's just no bridging the gap. There's no there's no common ground, and so if you have someone in your life that doesn't understand why you do what you do, but their moral character, where they're at, then you can take that and just apply that filter. So if someone that's evil, or someone that's wicked, doesn't understand why you do what you're doing, then you're probably doing the right thing. Or vice versa, if someone that's really wise that you respect and look up to is asking you why, is questioning some things that you're doing, then maybe you should reevaluate and associate and spend time with, and listen to the advice of those that you want to be more like. So that's it for chapter 29. We'll pick up with chapter 30 tomorrow. If you've got any questions or comments, let me know. Thanks. Have a great day.